In other security news, another alleged Israeli airstrike on Syria last night. This one, according to Syrian opposition sources, reportedly targeting an Iranian arms shipment that was heading to Lebanon. Now, the strikes reportedly hitting sites held by pro-Iranian militias in an area that is just west of Damascus. Meanwhile, a new report issued this week by the U.S. Defense Department on strategy for countering weapons of mass destruction contains some alarming assertions, among them that Iran, quote, has the capacity to produce enough fissile material for a nuclear device in less than 2 weeks. Now, the report assessed that the Tehran regime is not intending to produce a nuclear weapon at this time, but it added it remains a persistent regional threat. Well, joining us for more from Washington, D.C. is Jason Brodsky, Policy Director of United Against Nuclear Iran. And we talk about the time frame it could take to produce a nuclear weapon, Jason. That's fissile material, not necessarily a finished nuclear weapon, but it suggests that Iran is really on the verge of that nuclear, what we call that, nuclear weapons capability.
Yes, it's great to be with you, Calev. The report really was nothing new. It just reiterated what has been a calculation of Iran's breakout timeline for some time now. And the last IAE report, where it said Iran reduced the rate of its accumulation of 60% highly enriched uranium, really has not changed the fundamentals of its program. So the U.S. is trying to pursue a strategy right now to keep the Iran file off the president's desk by maintaining the status quo to avoid escalation, but there are risks involved in that approach.
Right. But Jason, we do reports breaking just this evening in Israel that the Minister of Defense, Yoav Gallant, will make his first trip to Washington for the new government, meet with his counterpart there, Defense Secretary Lord Austin. And one of the things certainly that Israel will be pressing the U.S. for is to somehow beef up the possibility of a credible military threat against that Iranian program.
Yes, Calev, I think it's a very important visit, and I would hope that U.S. officials are thinking very carefully about how to do that, because that is one way to influence an Iranian decision as to its nuclear program, as to whether there exists a credible military threat. Now, there need to be the continuation of joint exercises. The president and its administration needs to be adjusting their approach rhetorically and in public in terms of how they describe their readiness to take action against Iran's nuclear program militarily, should that become necessary. But we have not seen beyond exercises the level of public preparation which will be necessary to change the perception of the Iranian regime that we have the capability to strike their nuclear program, but not the will to do so.
Right. And Jason, I want to relate to an item we had at the beginning of the program. Ibrahim Raisi, the hardline president of Iran, speaking out against this apparent growing move towards normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia. I think it's his certainly most outspoken public comment against that. How much of a concern is it to Iran what we see, that growing closeness between Riyadh and Jerusalem?
I think it's of great concern to the Islamic Republic, and that's why they're lashing out rhetorically as they're seeing all these developments in the region and the normalization process, which is really underway between Israel and Saudi Arabia. And let's not forget the Islamic Republic has managed to maintain diplomatic relations with the UAE, despite the UAE being a member of the Abraham Accords. So that will likely be possible if Israel normalizes with Saudi Arabia. But Iran does view this as a threat, and that is why you're seeing the leadership lash out like this.
Right. Let's talk about two specific elements of that possible normalization deal. One, a security pact with the United States. It's unclear what form that take. There's some different reports about that. And also the prospect of Iran getting certainly a civilian nuclear program, but the MBS making clear if Iran is going to have a bomb, an atomic bomb, Saudi Arabia is going to want a similar weapon.
Yes, there are a lot of moving parts to this kind of deal, and I think that the Saudi demands as to a Saudi nuclear program really stem from, in part at least, from the misguided decision in the Obama administration to allow or permit Iran to enrich uranium and to really shift the U.S. position from zero enrichment to tolerating 3.67% enrichment under the JCPOA. And so Saudi Arabia naturally does not want to be put in a different category from its primary regional rival, the Islamic Republic.
And if you want more great content like that from I-24 News, just hit the subscribe button. It's as easy as that.